That was a very critical moment for many people in Hong Kong, because that was the moment we realized that the one country, two system were gradually, fading away from us. I was banned from China after the umbrella movement, so I couldn't play anywhere else. So we thought, okay, we'll do a Hong Kong tour, and we started to do the first gig on the tram. I started to find ways where I can do my own concerts without the money that's coming from the corporations. I turned towards the smaller businesses, the local businesses. It's kind of like crowdfunding.
我肯定呢一個係香港前無古人後無來者最團結嘅一個演唱會。
Some people are still fighting. Some people just do not want to give up. And it is going to get worse than it is right now. I do believe that. We have to educate the younger people about fighting for different rights, not only democracy. That is not something that would happen overnight. While countries were rolling out their red carpets for the China Dream, the umbrella movement in 2014 proved to be a defiant move from the people of Hong Kong. In a city where the majority of the population has always been so politically indifferent, why were these young students courageously standing up to this giant machine, one that so many were fearful of? Walking down the occupied streets of Harcourt Road, I remember seeing all these magnificent expressions of thought and creativity, something that I had never seen in my city. Graffiti, sculptures, art installations, small patches of farming, our own posted mosaic version of the Lennon Wall, and even a temporary study hall. And let's not forget the 28-meter banner of 我要真普選. We want real universal suffrage that hung on for an unforgettable morning on the iconic Lion Rock Mountain. In 1984, a joint declaration was signed announcing the return of Hong Kong back to China, at the same time introducing the one country, two systems model, which promised Hong Kong its freedom and autonomy for 50 years. Yet, this was never meant to be the case. Since the return, the Hong Kong government has been eroding our democratic systems in place for a century. Media freedom has declined rapidly, activists now prosecuted for peaceful assembly. Laws are now unjustifiably altered in favor of the Beijing government. For decades, we were promised universal suffrage. The communist government has done everything in its power to prevent this from happening. But where there is despair, there is resistance. When the Hong Kong as we knew it began disappearing before our eyes, a young and creative force swept across the city. Hundreds and thousands of us took to the streets. Mothers, fathers, scholars, and artists, an entire generation of youth poured onto streets, courageously and selflessly standing up to this injustice. To an authoritarian government, dissent and protests are a major threat. On 28 September 2014, a day that I would never forget, the Hong Kong government fired 87 tear gas bombs onto peaceful protesters. Hong Kong people, smart and flexible as we are, grabbed umbrellas as tools of defense to block off the chemicals. With this one act, our movement became a worldwide phenomenon. The umbrella movement ignited creative activism in Hong Kong. For the first time in our dictated history, we have finally come to our own definition of who we are. We are neither Chinese nor British. We are Hong Kongers. Those who have spoken out are now prosecuted, such as young student leaders Joshua Wong, Alex Chow, Nathan Law, Edward Leung, and the Umbrella Nine. Dozens of other lesser-known names are now sentenced for up to 8 years. The question I ask myself now is, what can I do as a celebrity? How do I convince this once brutally awakened, chosen generation that there is still hope in our own actions? After my involvement in the Umbrella movement, I was banned from China. All my songs and social media accounts were taken down. All commercial work has ceased. Brands, sometimes even other celebrities, kept their distance in fear of being associated with me. As I was forced out of my glamorous world, I gained a new perspective of what I could actually accomplish. I was brought into a new and vibrant world. In 2016, when sponsors avoided me for my political outspokenness, I instead launched a campaign to crowd-sponsor my concert, gathering support from 300 local businesses with a total of 50,000 tickets sold out within hours. Later on, with my amazing team, I built my own system. I launched my own record label, signing young and budding artists, and also improvised local tours in different districts of Hong Kong. We sang on trams, in underground live houses, on sidewalks, and even in local shops. By creating socially innovative art, music, and events, by breaking rules and reinventing the game, I want to pass on this message to the younger generations. Create your own possibilities, even when all odds are against you. Fear grows in spaces where we feel alone, judged, and cut off. The key is to not get discouraged and intimidated by the bigger picture, but rather to look within and around ourselves, to find people with similar values and identify the possibilities that exist in our own spaces. By focusing on our everyday lives, on our skills and passion, we can and will reignite our courage. Our fate is what we make of it. By reconnecting with ourselves, we will reconnect with others. And finally, we will reconnect with our flexibility in finding answers as a humanity.